Yo, what's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be using 6 random subscriber submitted decks. Alright, hopping in the first match here, we're going to be using an Expo deck submitted by one of my subscribers. Quite an interesting deck. For some reason, it does have EQ in it as well, and it does have Pump, which is kind of interesting, so... Alright, so this guy's going to have Tombstone here. Could be a lot of things still. Okay, he is going to Lava first play us, as they always do. So we're just going to Expo opposite lane. It's really important to go with the Expo in that position so that if they go with the balloon behind the Lava Hound, if you get like a high Tesla off, you can get the balloon to go for the Tesla, then for the Expo. So it kind of just like pulls it across the entire map, which works out really well usually. So that's why I did that placement there. And Mega Minion going to be pretty helpful against the Lava. Fire Spirit also always gonna do a good job for us to clean up the pups when we need that. And alright, so he actually does waste Fireball here. So the really nice thing about running Expo Pump is that they almost never actually expect you to be running Expo Pump, so they often waste their big spell on something that's kind of pointless. And yeah, so we got him in a really good spot here, forcing him to go with the Barbs at the bridge as well, which is just gonna be a free positive elixir trade for me right there. Just was able to clean it up really nicely with the Fire Spirit plus Log. Now we're going to shut down the balloon pretty nicely as well, so quite a nice start here for us, because we do have the pump up as well, so yeah. Alright, so we're just going to Expo here, always going with the Expo in the innermost position, just in case we ever need it on defense in a later push. And yeah, we're just going to Mega Minion on his Skeleton Dragons, maybe, yeah, we forced out like the extra zap, so was pretty good for us here. This could go to a 2-tower game though, so I'm hoping we can have good defense. So I'm just gonna pump right here really quick, force him to Fireball, which kind of like stalls out the game a little bit, so it gives me a bit of a better chance to possibly defend my right tower. And yeah, just gotta watch out for his Skeleton Dragons as well. Okay, and he's gonna go with the Lava Hound at the bridge. So I'm actually gonna go with a bit of a higher Tesla right now, hoping that the balloon will go for the Expo after it kills the Tesla, so... And yeah, that worked out really well for us with that balloon going all the way across the map, because then it just gets finished off easily by the opposite tower. Alright, so we did defend pretty well so far, so I might go in with an aggressive Expo. Okay, so he does Barbs there. We are going to try to get an Expo off here in a second, though, because we don't really... I mean, he could take our tower, but we don't really want it to happen, so if it does end up happening, at least we'll have taken most of his tower. And it looks like it's already too late for him at this point. There's not really any way you can break through like a triple building, so that looks like it's going to be GG. Pretty nice first win here with the Expo deck. Really OP subscriber decks. Alright, the next deck here is actually going to be a really interesting Hog deck with E-Barbs. Alright, hopping in the next game against this guy, we're gonna be using quite an interesting Hog deck here. Does definitely have potential to work though, has really good air defense, has solid ground defense with the E-Barbs, and yeah. It might just be a bit hard to break through though if the opponent has like a good building to counter the Hog, or like a tornado or something, but if we're gonna face any sort of heavy deck, we should have a pretty good matchup, so not a half bad Hog deck here. And this guy is going to have Bowler, so probably going to be Lumberloon or Splash Yard. And seeing the Valkyrie, it should be Splash Yard. And he is actually going to go really aggressive. You're going to spend just like a crazy amount of elixir right away. So pretty solid start, I would say. Unfortunately, the Queen does finish off the Dark Prince before it was able to get a last shot. So he does clean up everything pretty well, but he spent quite a bit here, so not bad for us. Looks like he's gonna go with a super aggressive Graveyard, but we don't really have like anything in cycle to punish him for it. E-Barb's not gonna get too much value in this matchup because I feel like the Bowler just kind of shreds them, and also the Valkyrie can fully counter E-Barb, so yeah. And we're actually just gonna go with the Hog here because I know he has Tornado, so if we go with the Ice Wizard and the Hog, then we'll force him to always spend something extra. And he does go with the Bowler there, but the Ice Wizard slowing it just makes it hit super slowly, and it just allows our Hog to just get like a crazy amount of damage. Even though I think this guy does have NATO, so he does still have a good amount of Hog counters, but yeah, we still were able to get a ton of damage there. Alright, so him having queen is going to be interesting. He will go in with the queen plus Valk. Could be a little bit hard to stop, but worst case scenario, we can just like free barbs here. And yeah, he is going to go with a NATO on offense. Kind of interesting or questionable plays by this guy here, but I'll take it, I guess. And yeah, and the nice thing about having Inferno Dragon is that it's just so good at blocking the bridge against Graveyard. Yeah, we were just able to just completely deny his baby dragon from crossing the bridge. And he did waste the NATO on offense there, so our Hog gonna get so much damage because he had nothing in cycle for it. Unless, honestly, we're just gonna take that Fireball on the Ice Wizard there because he spent so much on all of his stuff that I'm not really worried about it. And here we don't have like the best graveyard counters here, so we kind of just want to block the bridge with the Inferno Dragon every time and kind of just defend his graveyards with like an Ice Wizard or Electro Wizard, or just like multiple stuff. And he does go with the NATO on offense once again, so he's not going to have anything for that Hog, and it should be GG actually. Yeah, not a half bad Hog deck, honestly. Pretty solid win here. Alright, the next deck here is going to be a Golem deck. Really interesting Golem deck my editor suggested. Alright, so normally with Golem decks, when you have Golem in your starting hand, you kind of just want to wait until double Elixir, but we're probably just going to make a first play here just for the sake of the video, to be honest with you guys. And yeah, so this is actually my editor's deck. He was actually forcing me to use this deck, otherwise he would get angry at me and I wouldn't want that to happen, so just allowed my editor to get in the video this time. Alright, so our opponent's going to be using Zappies plus Snowball here. Could be some weird Mega Knight deck or something. I wouldn't really expect Royal Recruits at this point since he has, yeah, like Fisherman and Snowball. They never really run that. So yeah, probably going to be Mega Knight, and he does have Tombstone as well, so this might be actually Graveyard. I kind of recognize this deck. I think I used it once in some competitive match. And he does have Inferno Dragon, which is a little bit annoying for us. Having this deck, we don't really have any good responses to the Inferno Dragon. We could kind of just get like a Mega Minion or a Baby Dragon on it, but it's not really going to do a great job at killing it, unless it's like getting distracted by something. The one nice thing though is that Golden Knight is really pretty good against Graveyards, so that's the one nice thing we have for us. Okay, he's gonna go with the really aggressive Graveyard here. Hopefully the Mega Minion finishes off the MK. Oh, rip. Mega Knight got like a really big leap there because the Mega Minion was just a bit slow. But we're honestly just gonna bridge spam here. Gonna spend all our elixir, and sometimes you don't even need to Golem to get a ton of damage with this deck. Like if you create the right pressure or just are in the right situation, you can sometimes break through without it. So let's see if we can. Okay, he is gonna have really good defense with the Tombstone. But looks like our Barb is still gonna get a couple swings off, so honestly a pretty good situation for us right now. It's always good to go same lane with Golem, so having him in this same lane situation is definitely quite ideal for us. And yeah, now I'm sure most of you guys know how to play Golem in general, so we kind of just want to spam a bunch of cards behind the Golem now. Unfortunately, his Fisherman is going to target our Cannon card. Not really sure why he went for that Fisherman. Doesn't really make too much sense, but okay, unfortunately the Golden Knight not really going to dash on anything there either, so not the greatest stuff for us here, but looks like the Golden Knight will get, yeah, a really nice dash off right there. I feel like Golden Knight kind of is carrying Golem right now. And I'm just going to Golem up high here because I know he has to Mega Knight on the Golden Knight, so if he doesn't, then he's just going to lose anyways. And looks like he just gave up here, so really dominant win here with Golem. You can see how well it does if you make the right plays. Alright, the next deck here is going to be a really interesting Mortar bait deck. Alright, so hopping in the next match with this deck, it's going to be a pretty interesting one. I feel like we have like a super good offense with this deck having double barrel plus Mortar, but we might be lacking a bit on defense without like the Inferno Tower or something like that, so we'll see how this deck holds up. And it looks like we are going to be facing a Hog deck, which usually is a little bit difficult when you're playing Mortar because you don't really have a great way to break through since you always have to use that Mortar on defense against the Hogs. But At least sometimes you can get off those high mortars like we just did there, and you can sometimes score a hit if they have an awkward cycle, because it will still force them to at least spend something to distract the mortar. We're just gonna go with the skeleton barrel opposite lane here, so he'll at least have to spend something, and if he like logs it, okay, he's gonna go with the tornado. But if he had logged it or something, then our barrel would have just got a lot of value after. And looks like this guy's gonna be using the giant skeleton deck that one guy on top ladder usually uses, so it will be interesting. It is a bit better for us that he doesn't have Earthquake though, so that is kind of helpful here. Definitely gives us a better chance. I'm just gonna Goblin Barrel in the middle here, and actually gonna Scar me as well, because I knew he didn't have NATO in cycle, and he didn't have like any good response there. And we're just gonna Mortar on offense here, because I'm not really... Okay, he's just gonna Fireball it kind of desperately, but don't really think that's gonna be able to stop it. And yeah, I just Mortared on offense there, because I know if he's always like using the tornadoes and logs and all that stuff, then he has no way to get through our Scar me on defense, so not worried to go with like the offensive mortar once in a while. And we're actually gonna get a really good prediction log on his Scar me. Wow, that's a ton of damage there. Sometimes you really have to make those good heads-up plays when you're playing a really aggressive bait deck like this. That just probably won us the game here. Don't want to call the game too early, but looking really good right now. And it's always good to go with the aggressive Dart Goblins at the bridge, because like more often than not, they simply just won't have the reaction time to predict the Dart Goblins, so it does usually give pretty good chip damage throughout the game. Wizard is going to be a bit annoying, so we're just going to Fireball it here. Don't really want to deal with it at all. And yeah, kind of a bit hard for us to stop, because the only way we can stop it is with like a Valkyrie, but I don't really want to waste it when he has a giant skeleton in his deck. Okay, so we're always forcing him to use those NATOs on offense, which isn't the best trade for him most of the time, so I'm pretty fine with this situation right now. It is a bit hard for us to get guaranteed damage though, since we don't have like a rocket or something. We don't have like Princess either to go with like those aggressive princesses at the bridge. So we're just gonna keep on trying to break through with Mortar. Not really worried about him possibly breaking through with the Hog, because we're always forcing him to spend quite a lot here, and we have pretty easy defense. We can just like Fireball the Wizard, Mortar the Hog Rider, and go with like Valkyrie on the giant skeleton. Alright, so we are going to get a really good Goblin Barrel plus Log there, catching like a good portion of his Scar me, so his tower is falling lower and lower. Even though we don't have like a great way to get damage here, we're just getting like really steady chip damage. And he is going to go for the prediction NATO there, but we're actually going to switch up our defense this time. I always find it really important to switch up your defense so when they try to predict you with like a, I don't know, like arrow, if they try to like prediction arrows your Scar me or something, and you go with like a different defense that time, then it's already like a really good spot for you. And that's what we did there. Gonna be a pretty nice win here. Alright, the next deck we're going to be using here is going to be a really interesting Graveyard Skeleton King deck. Alright, so I did actually see this deck going around before, but I did notice that the subscriber who sent this deck ended up putting guards in over Skeleton Army, which is pretty interesting, because you kind of usually would think that you would prefer Scar me, since you already have like a Skeleton King in the deck and can get more value out of Scar me, but I guess this guy just likes the guards for like the, I don't know, more safe defense. And we do already have like the Tombstone, which is feeding the Skeleton King ability really nicely, so I guess the subscriber isn't too worried about charging up the ability with like a Scar me. And we're actually just gonna ability here, because it's gonna finish off his knight pretty well, force him to go in with the baby dragon. He does clean up pretty nicely, but he had to spend quite a bit, so yeah. And this guy is Knight plus Baby Dragon plus Tombstone, so actually might be a Graveyard Mirror matchup, which will actually be quite a lot better just because of the guards, I feel like. Because I think if we had Scar me, it would be quite a lot more difficult, so I guess this is kind of just showing why guards can actually be pretty good even in Skeleton King decks over like a Scar me. And Queen actually gonna do a pretty bad job against the guards as well if we decide to use them here, so we have plenty of options. Looks like we will still have to spend the Skeleton King here though, because the Tombstone doesn't quite finish it off, but yeah. I don't want to graveyard too early here. I know we have an easy defense against his graveyards, but better to be a little bit more on the safe side rather than over aggressive. And Tombstone actually with that buff it got recently, it actually fully, I don't know how to call it, like how exactly to call it, but actually like fully stalls an Inferno Dragon now if it's played early like that. So Inferno Dragon actually just gonna get stuck there, which is actually kind of good for us because it's just gonna buy us time to like build up a double lane push kinda. So yeah, and Guard is gonna get a few stabs on the left lane as well, so pretty good stuff here for us. And since you don't have Starmie in this deck, in this version of the deck, it's always good to play those Tombstones to build up the Skelly King ability. Okay, he's gonna go with his Archer Queen ability, so we didn't get our Skeleton King ability off in time, but luckily the skeletons from the RNG of the graveyard are still gonna get us a bit of chip damage there, so pretty good stuff here. Even though he has like a really good defense against our graveyard, having the poison there, the thing is we can always just like get at least like a tiny bit of chip damage just from the RNG of our graveyard, and if he goes with a poison on defense, then he has like no way to break through, so we can kind of just like bait all of his units really easily. And I feel like the Skeleton King ability will also get a good bit of value here. Gonna Fireball his Queen, don't really want to deal with it. And yeah, Skeleton's gonna start to swarm up and actually get a lot of chip damage right there. Yeah, really nice stuff here. And we were being so aggressive the whole time, we didn't even give him a single chance to go in with the offensive graveyard until now. And we're actually going to Skelly King here just to take advantage of the dead souls from his graveyard. And we're going to go in with the Skeleton King ability, going to get a Fireball off as well. Always important to get rid of those queens as early as possible. Don't really want to deal with them on the offensive end, because I kind of prefer to save the guards for defense against his graveyard, so that's why I'm kind of trying to just Fireball his queens most of the time. Also, Skeleton King actually has quite a ton of HP, so it is a pretty decent response to Queen as well when needed. Okay, so we will go in here. We do have to watch out when he has the poison. Yeah, he is gonna go really aggressive there. The Nado is gonna work out pretty well for him as well, so I'm just gonna go aggressive here. I know I can't defend too well forever if I keep letting him go really aggressive. We're even gonna Fireball his Baby Dragon. I could have Fireballed his Queen if I waited a second, but I know that we just need like one more Fireball at this point, or one more arrows, and we should have it. So yeah, pretty solid win here. I feel like we're actually doing super well with the subscriber decks so far. Alright, hopping in with the last deck here, we're gonna be using a Hog Mega Knight deck from mid ladder. Alright, so we're actually gonna have like a really interesting Mega Knight Firecracker Hog deck here. I guess it was one of my subscribers' takes on the normal Hog deck I run. So yeah, gonna be pretty interesting. We do have a lot slower of a cycle than normal, so we are gonna run into a bit of awkward cycles, I feel like, but it does have pretty strong defense, having like the Tesla in there, the Mega Knight in there, the Firecracker. Okay, so this guy does have Inferno Dragon plus Bar Barrel. Might actually be like, okay, and Nado, so might actually be Lumberloon here, which is going to be pretty interesting. The Fireball will definitely help a lot in this matchup though, so actually feel like we're looking a bit better in this matchup than we normally would, having the normal Hog EQ version. Alright, so we're just going to get a Firecracker off. I'm actually going to Mega Knight here. Oh, unfortunately the bowler just barely splashes the Firecracker down, so that definitely hurt us a lot here. But we're gonna get a late Tesla off, and I think we're gonna defend pretty nicely. But yeah, we do have a bit of an awkward cycle, so we don't really have any way to defend the Lumberjack, so we're just gonna have to get a late Fireball off here. Hope he doesn't freeze. And yeah, we couldn't defend perfectly, but we are up in damage here, so that's always a good thing for us. The only kind of annoying part here will be defending his Inferno Dragons as well, because we don't really have like a good reset for it. Or not really defending it, but kind of just like getting it off the map, because if we want to go aggressive with like a Mega Knight or something, we don't really have any reset for it, so If I were my subscriber, I'd probably run this deck with Zap, to be honest with you, just so I have like something for as a reset, or maybe like an Electro Wizard over the Mother Witch, but besides that, this definitely could work pretty well here. And yeah, so we're gonna get a really good fireball value we're gonna get really good fireball value presented to us here, so gonna take it. Unfortunately, his baby dragon will get good splash on our tower, but we're just gonna get a Mother Witch off here and combo our Hog with the piggies. He will go in with the Bowler and Tornado, but our Hog might actually get one shot still if he doesn't do anything. So yeah. Yeah, the Firecracker Shrapnel always gets that super nice chip damage, so pretty good stuff here for us. Might be a bit close against this balloon if he goes in with the freeze, but we're gonna get a fireball. We're gonna Firecracker as well, just in case he tries to pull some trick up his sleeve. But yeah, we're gonna defend pretty well. Just kind of wanna hope we can get like a Hog, and we actually do get one Hog hit there. I think he went with a bit of a mistimed NATO there, so yeah. And at this point, we kind of just have to cycle like a couple of fireballs and maybe get a bit of Firecracker shrapnel hitting his tower. And he's gonna give us pretty good value on the fireball here, so we might go with it shortly. Okay, we're just gonna use it defensively since he went in with the Inferno Dragon, Baby Dragon, Bowler. And the piggy is actually gonna get a bit of chip damage here, so looking pretty good for us. And yeah, the balloon is gonna get turned into a pig, so now we kind of just need to cycle 2 fireballs. It is going to be triple elixir here in a second, so we might be able to get it. We do have drop glitch though on our log. But yeah, I'm just going to fireball here. Unfortunately, I was kind of expecting our Hog to get a hit, but it didn't end up getting it. But okay, this is going to be a little bit close here. Going to go with the high Tesla here so he can't freeze the Tesla and the tower. And we're also going to go in with the Hog so he couldn't freeze. Alright, that's going to be fireball range. Alright, GG's. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.